Everyone talks about prompt engineering like it's some kind of magic trick. Write better prompts, use these secret prompt formulas, copy this prompt to get perfect answers, right? But almost no one explains what prompt engineering actually is and why it even matters. So today, let us clear the confusion. Let us understand the real skill behind effective AI communication, which is prompt engineering. Welcome to Tech with Saara, where we break down AI and tech concepts without hype, buzzwords, or confusion. If you want to understand how AI really works, not just how to use tools, you're in the right place. Well, firstly, let us understand what prompt engineering is not. Well, first, let's remove some myths that cloud understanding of this important skill. Well, prompt engineering is not about writing fancy English, it is not about memorizing certain prompts, and it is not about tricking the AI as well. You do not need perfect grammar or eloquent writing to create effective prompts. Neither do you need to memorize certain prompt templates that would make you skilled at prompt engineering. There are overall no secret tricks or hacks that magically improve AI responses. Prompt engineering is not all of this. Now, if it was all of this, it wouldn't matter this much. But it is something different. So you just do not have to write fancy, eloquent words. You do not just have to memorize a certain template and use it everywhere. You do not just have to use certain tricks or hacks. So this video, I'm not going to teach you about hacks to achieve and get certain AI responses, but in fact to make you understand very clearly what prompt engineering is and how exactly prompt engineering works. Because only when you understand what prompt engineering is and how it works, you would be able to choose the right prompts and write the right prompts very well. Alright, so let us now understand what prompt engineering actually is. Well, prompt engineering is the skill of structuring input so an AI system produces reliable and useful output. Well, when you give an input to AI system, it would give you a reliable output. So this becomes really obvious that the output that the AI system is giving you depends a lot on the input, the way you are typing it, the way you are structuring it. And that is it. That is exactly what prompt engineering is. The skill in which you structure the input such that the AI produces a reliable and a useful output. Well, here you are not talking to AI like a human. In fact, you are guiding a probabilistic system. Well, this again is a very common myth. Most of the people out here say that prompt engineering is simple, just talk to AI like a human, ask whatever you want. But that is not exactly what prompt engineering is. In prompt engineering, you are guiding a probabilistic system. In prompt engineering, you are actually guiding or asking an AI system. And an AI system is something that works on probabilities. It is a probabilistic system. And that is exactly why in prompt engineering you are going to guide a probabilistic system so that you get clear and reliable output. Alright, so firstly, let us understand what prompt engineering actually comprises of. Well, firstly, you must clearly define the intent. Specify exactly what you want the AI to accomplish. No confusion, everything should be very clear. Also, add certain constraints. Set boundaries and limitations for the output. Well, AI is very vast. Until you specify something very clearly, set boundaries, limitations, you are not going to get the exact output that you need. Also, provide context. Give the AI the right information to work with. Well, you are going to ask AI the exact thing you need. Along with it, provide context such that the response is going to be very, very specific to what you exactly want. Well, almost everyone out there uses ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, various other platforms. However, very few get the desired output that they want in a single shot itself. And all of that entirely depends upon the way you are writing the prompt. And these are three very important strategies that one must follow to get the most accurate response. Clearly define your intent, clearly define what you exactly want, add proper constraints, set boundaries and limitations, and provide proper context. In fact, give AI the right information that you would like to work with. Well, why all of this is necessary is because AI does not understand what you mean. It only predicts what comes next. Now, as I've already mentioned, it is like you are dealing with a probabilistic system. In fact, you are guiding a probabilistic system to get certain outputs of your choice. And that is why AI does not understand what you mean, it only predicts what would come next. So if your prompt is vague, the AI fills the gaps often incorrectly. Now, if you ask a very incomplete question, AI would fill the gap according to whatever it knows, but it would not be specific. But in fact, if you are using the right specific kind of prompt, then it would reduce ambiguity in the instructions. It would then reduce randomness in outputs and reduce wrong assumptions by the system. Now, if your instructions are less ambiguous, very clear, less random, you would be getting the most expected output and the most accurate response by AI. Well, understanding why prompt engineering is actually very important. Well, AI is non deterministic in nature. If you ask the same question twice, you might get different answers. In fact, I'm sure most of you would have dealt with this already. Now, if you're asking the same question twice, even to the same platform, say ChatGPT, you are getting two different answers. And this unpredictability creates challenges in real world applications as well. This narrows the possibilities, reduces the range of potential outputs that we might get, increases consistency, and improves reliability, right? If we are following a particular structured, consistent manner of writing prompts or these inputs to an AI, it would reduce the range of the outputs and limit it to the most accurate ones. It would increase consistency here and improve reliability, and this way it is creating dependable results. And this is why it is very critical in real applications where consistency and reliability matter the most. And since AI is non deterministic, it keeps changing over time depending upon the inputs that you are providing it with. It is really important to follow prompt engineering to give the right prompts and to get the accurate outputs. Well, something that we all know, AI has no common sense. It doesn't inherently know what is important, what to ignore, what is needed. And that is why human guidance is the most important. And prompt, in fact, the one that we are giving, it tells the AI that this matters and this does not, and this is the format. Now, without this guidance, the output might sound confident, but it is totally wrong. Now, this is something we have experienced several times. AI is very confident, but it might give the wrong answer. Now, unless you are guiding AI as in which particular format answer or what exactly you need, AI is not going to use common sense to give you the output as such. Also, prompts are replacing code in many systems. Well, in modern AI products, the role of prompts has evolved dramatically. Now, they are no longer just inputs, but they are part of the system design itself, right? Prompts are acting like logic. They define the entire decision making process and the reasoning flow within AI systems. Also, these instructions that we are giving, they act like control flow and they determine the sequence and conditions under which operations must occur. Also, when you are giving examples along with it, they act like training signals. They guide the AI's behavior through demonstration rather than explicit programming. And that is exactly why bad prompts can even break real products. And this makes prompt engineering a core engineering skill and not just a nice to have. The future is AI, and now it entirely depends upon the way we are framing our prompts, and that is why prompt engineering has become really very critical. It is replacing code in many systems. It is in fact acting like the logic itself. Instructions here are acting like control flow itself, and examples are acting like training signals. And that is why prompt is replacing the code or the problem statement itself in a whole. Well, most hallucinations are prompt problems. Now, hallucination is something we all might be aware of, right? Well, most of the times when you ask AI a general question, and if it is not specific enough, AI might create its own response. Something that is not very right, but it is hallucinating enough. And that is exactly why it happens. If you are not framing your prompt in the right manner, if your prompt is not consistent enough, if your prompt is not constrained or specific enough, AI would hallucinate. And this way, it would generate false or nonsensical information. And this also is a problem of the prompt. But if you give proper, clear prompts with proper constraints and defined assumptions, then we would be able to overcome this problem of AI, which is hallucination as well. That is why prompt engineering is a bridge skill. It sits at a unique intersection connecting multiple critical elements of AI interaction. In fact, prompt engineering acts as a bridge skill over human intent such that we know what we want to achieve, AI behavior on the basis of how systems respond, and real world outcomes which are actual results delivered. And that is why it is important not just for developers but for anyone working with AI tools, right from marketers to researchers, from designers to business analysts. Prompt engineering is in fact one of the most important skills in AI because it acts as a bridge skill. It controls all of these three factors, namely AI behavior, how the system would respond, human intent, what we exactly would like to achieve, and real world outcomes, the overall outcome for any particular real world problem also would depend upon the prompt that we are providing it with. Well, talking about will prompt engineering become useless over the years? Well, memorizing certain prompt templates will disappear. Magic prompt lists, copy paste options will disappear. But what will remain always is understanding how AI responds to structure, knowing how to reduce ambiguity, and designing clear instructions. Well, following a set of prompts, right? There are certain, tutorials on how to write certain prompts, prompt templates that are always good. These will disappear over time because things would change over a few years. But what will always remain valuable is you understanding how AI works, understanding how AI takes in the prompt and gives you the output, understanding how to write prompts for each and everything without following any template, knowing how to reduce ambiguity by writing clear instructions is what will remain valuable always. Well, overall, prompt engineering is not magic. It entirely depends upon clarity, constraints, and context. Make your intent crystal clear to the AI system. Set boundaries that guide the output quality and provide the right information at the right time. Now, when you master these principles of clarity, constraints, and context, you will understand prompt engineering at its core, not just as a collection of tricks, but as a fundamental skill for effective AI collaboration. Well, if this video helped you understand prompt engineering better, like the video, share it, and subscribe to Tech with Sarah for more clear, no hype tech content. See you in the next one. Thank you, everyone.